popularly known as Shri Aravind Sastha. He is the fourth generation in his family to carry forward the intergeneration legacy of Shasta worship that can be traced to his great-grandfather in early 1920s. He is well versed in Tantra traditions of Kerala temple and is considered to be one of the prominent experts of this domain. Now I welcome Shri Aravind Subramaniam to deliver.
Pranams to all the eminent personalities and the audience present here. There is no point in giving introduction to about what is culture, what is tradition, or what is the ritual. We all know about that. These are mere words in English. And when it comes to threat, especially threats of religious attacks, Kerala and Tamil Nadu, both the states are the most targeted states, and we know the reason why. So let us go straight into God's own country. So we have so many civilizations and rulings influencing Kerala culture, and according to the history, the Purana says the Kerala was formed by Bhagavan Parashurama. When he threw his axe from Kanyakumari, it dropped near Gokarna. So the original Puranic Keralam starts from Gokarna to Kanyakumari. But today, the physical boundaries of Kerala has changed. But starting with the unique tradition of Kerala, the first point we have to address is Kerala Tantra. The Kerala Tantra, as misunderstood by many, is not a regular tantric practice, but it is an amalgamation of Shaiva Agama, Shakta Tantra, Pancharatra Tantric. Everything is amalgamated into a form called Kerala Tantra. And it is actually, the uniqueness of Kerala Tantra is it is deeply rooted with Vedic rituals also. There may be minor variations which has evolved over a period of time with few temples, but the basic structure is same throughout. When it comes to Kerala Tantra, immediately people refer the book called Tantra Samuchayam. But actually, Tantra Samuchayam is a much later day book. Tantra Samuchayam is actually a standardization or a compilation book. We have much old text for Kerala Tantram, like Prayoga Chintamani or even Ishana Shiva Gurudeva Paddhati. Apart from all these, each and every temple of Kerala had a unique Paddhati followed by them. For example, the Padmanabha Swami Tantri is now, he has left actually. Padmanabha Swami temple has a unique text governing the pujas and other things. Basically, the Kerala Tantram is the constitution for construction of the temple, and the temple is the base for all the culture and tradition or rituals which they are following. So, the first threat started with the attack of Tippu, and the threat is actually we have lost the unique tradition for each temple. Now it is a standardized Tantra Samuchayam for all the temples. And the northern Kerala was attacked by Tippu. Southern Kerala had a western attack. So both the sides, there was an attack which resulted in loss of so many unique texts of Kerala. And now people see only Tantra Samuchayam as a text, and now it has stooped down to a level. There is another book called Saparivara Pujagal. And what they refer actually, when you go to a temple, the actual procedure is the main priest who is doing the puja, he must be well versed, he should be trained, he goes under a Gurukula Vasam and learns everything. Today what is happening is, they will tell you number 42 or number 127. I was wondering what is number 42 or number 127. Number 42 is Kali Puja given in the Saparivara Pujagal. Number 127 is Narasimha Puja. Number 110 is Shasta Puja. That's all. Only it consists of 2 pages. Number 42 will have 2 pages of basic puja. That is what is now happening in most of the temples. And the knowledge level is stooped down to such a level. So the glorious text, most of it is not available. And what is available is only these. And with the limited text resource, yet we have a direct attack on the temples with the very well planned agenda from the government. Today, we have 5 Devasam boards controlling Kerala temples. Travancore Devasam Board, Cochin, Malabar, Guruvayur and Kudalmanikam. It may sound very good, Devasam Board, but it is a manipulative word. It appears to be an individual body, but definitely it is again controlled by the government just under the veil of board or something. Where it started is actually, when you read your textbooks, it talks about Colonel Munro, who's actually given a credit of a great administrator and reformer of Kerala. He is the culprit actually. He was the one who started this concept of taking Hindu temples into control because of the lands and properties, assets attached to the temple. That was his main target. To cover up his loot, he gave a name, Devasam Board. So each and every administrative measure taken by Munro was a well-planned attack to weaken the native culture of every Kerala citizen. Originally, we had temples in Kerala, not only managed by Nambudris, but even the royal families had a separate temple. The Nair families had separate temples. Each and every family had their own place of worship, either as a temple or as a kavu or as a tara. Each and every family, and they managed the entire temple. This cunning person, Munro, he took over everything and slowly weakened the system. And as usual, the reason given was misappropriation of funds or mismanagement. Today, all the boards are operating under a minister. And ultimately, it is operated by the government, and ultimately the party men are appointed as the trustees, and they are actually influencing or interfering in the day-to-day affairs of the temple in the name of management. We all know what happened at Sabarimala. Needless to say that. When the government changed, they stand in the Supreme Court change. So when Ramesh Sir spoke in the morning, he was talking about the atrocities of HRNC of Tamil Nadu, and Devasam Board is no way less to HRNC of Tamil Nadu. Only the name is different, that's all. They are equally capable of doing all sort of atrocities. And even the main problem is the Supreme Court gives an observation, why can't the temple funds be used for public good? Everybody is bothered about the temple fund. Why not the temple fund be used for temples? Nobody is asking that. So anyway, the financial part we have already covered a lot. I am coming to the cultural side. A constitution is ruling the country. Similar to that, the set of rules for a temple is its constitution. A constitution, normal constitution cannot be changed for the sake of administration or for any reason. Similarly, the rules for a temple cannot change based on the public opinion or for a political correctness or for any other reasons. So, the crux of any temple is its Chaitanyam. So, the Chaitanyam is being tampered or attacked, and that is their main agenda. So, in the name of modernization or in the name of administration, what they do, slowly they have tampered the entire system, and the preferences of the deity is totally changed. The Chaitanyam, it is unique to each temple. Ayyappan of Sabarimala is different from Dharmashastra of Achangovil. Guruvayurappan of Krishna, same Krishna is inserted at Guruvayur, same Krishna is seen at Ambalapura, but both are two different deities and their preferences change from temple to temple. That has to be taken care, but in the name of administration. There is a popular legend with Padmanabha Swami's temple. When Ramanuja wanted to introduce his own system, I am not very sure about whether it is a story or a legend, I don't know, I am not commenting on that. But there is a popular legend. When Ramanuja wanted to change the system of Kerala Tantram to his own style of puja in Padmanabha Swami temple, the priests and the tantris, they went to the Lord and they appealed to the Lord. Please do something. And what Bhagavan did, Ramanuja, he was sleeping at Trivandrum. Next day morning when he woke up, he was at Tirukurumudi. So even the Lord is in favor of rituals and traditions than concepts and ideologies. He wanted to change to Panjaratra style, but the Tantris and the other priests, they were not ready. They said, we are comfortable with this and we are taught by our ancestors and by family, hereditary, we are following this. So please don't make this happen. And Bhagavan want to have a good name with both these people, probably. So he tried to convince Ramanuja, but Ramanuja was ready. He was not ready. So next day morning, he transported himself to. He was sleeping at Trivandrum. He woke up at Tirukurukudi near Tirunelveli. So when Ramanuja's tradition, which is not less than minimum 1,000 to 2,000 years old, when Bhagavan is not ready to accept that, how can a constitution which is hardly 70 to 75 years old try to influence or try to interfere in the Chaitanyam of a deity which is thousands and thousands of years old? Another example, the Paddhati or rituals cannot be changed for any reason. That is the basic structure. That is the preference of the deity, and that is what the Devata wants. In a simple example of Padmanabha Swami, a classic example actually, it is owned by the kings now. And it is a king's temple. But the Pradhana Nevedyam for Swami is curd rice and mango, that too in a coconut shell. The temple is owned by the king. That doesn't give the permission to the king to change the Nevedyam, or even you cannot change even the coconut shell. You cannot offer it in a golden cup or something. At the most, what you can do is you can offer it in a golden coconut shell. But the coconut shell is a coconut shell, that cannot be changed. And that is the preference of the deity. You cannot change according to our personal whims and fancies. But what is happening in reality is all reformations and revolutions starts only with the temple. Even for one's own son or daughter's marriage, they do all sorts of research, and they are not even ready to accept people from other clan or other caste. But all reformations happens only with the temple. Because similar to women entry to young women entry to Sabarimala, now the latest attack of the Devaswam board is replacing the traditional priests with appointments, new appointments, and snatching their hereditary rights. That is the latest agenda of Devaswam board. The thing is, the Devaswam board minister, he made a statement. A new history has been scripted by ensuring reservation policy in the appointment of temple priests. And he made an additional statement, unlike young women entry to Sabarimala, which backfired due to public agitation, we will take utmost care in implementing this. So whether it is a voluntary statement or a Freudian slip, I don't know. But he himself has made it clear that it is Achara Langanam. It is against the tradition. The priesthood that is being attacked now, the hereditary rights of priests. Actually, many people think that it is a Brahmin reserve. But it is not so. The priests are from various castes offering pujas in their own respective temples. And no temple is allowing an outsider into his purview. That is the catch here. And this is actually a Tantri and a Melsandi. Both are two different positions in a Kerala temple, which many people actually, they confuse. Tantri is the supreme head of the temple and who sets the rules for the temple and who do the pratishtha of the temple and who actually has the rights hereditarily. And he installs the murti and he is actually considered to be the father of the deity. He is the father of the deity. And Melsandi is the one who does the daily puja. Tantri does the Kumbhabhishekam or the Pratishtha or the Vishesha pujas, but Melsandi is the one who does the day-to-day affairs, who takes care of the day-to-day affairs and does the daily puja, and he is considered to be the mother of the deity. And that is the actual relationship between a Tantri and Melshandi. And this is the Tantri has to give the mantravadesham of the respective deity and do the abhishekam and then take him to the sanctum and hand over the responsibility of doing the puja. Now, to this system, the Devasam board is interfering, and actually, Tantri is the guru, he is the Sishya, and now he is forcing that forcing the guru to give mantravadesham to any Tom, Dick and Harry, he dictates. Mantravadesham has to be given to a Sishya who is deserving, and he should be convinced. Now you bring somebody in the name of reservation or appointment, or who has no, actually, in few temples in Ernakulam area, I am very sorry to say this, people who are looking after the elephants are now appointed as Melshandis in the name of reservation. If they are properly trained, that is a different question. Till yesterday, he was looking after the elephant. And the Tantri is forced now to give mantravadesham to a person who is dictated by the board. And before attacking the priesthood, what the Devasam board has done already, they have very cleverly, they have attacked the Ambalavasi system. And it is almost closed now. Except for very few temples, the entire Ambalavasi system, the Ambalavasi system had representation from all clans of society, is now almost extinct. Yes. We have so many roles in temple taken care by various clans. And everything comes by hereditary. Each person has a role, each family has a role. Actually, there was one controversy a few years ago. Actor Jairam actually, he played the Panchavadyam or Chanda in one temple and became a controversy because he is a Brahmin and he is not supposed to do that. And he is actually taking the rights of some particular family member who has the right to do that. That became a controversy. So it is not... Marar complained that he is snatching his opportunity. So it is not something was a supremacy or something given to one particular family. Each family had their own role. But now there is no barrier in this. It is a government job now. Anybody can apply and anybody can get the job. These traditional families are slowly now replaced, obviously, with crypto people. And you can just go and search in the Google. You have now a special class called Muslim Ambalavasi. I don't know where it comes from. Muslim Ambalavasi. Muslim Ambalavasi matrimony, I saw that. So all these traditional families are now replaced. And what is remaining is now the priesthood. So that is the final brick of the building which is holding back the Chaitanyam. So now they have started attacking the priests now by trying to replace the traditional priests. The basic thing is now the mother of the deity, who's actually taking care of the deity, is now an employee of the state. And once you become an employee, you know how they treat you. And now in ration cards, occupation, pujari. It is given in such a way, the occupation is given as pujari. One thing which is, we must make it very clear that a person who is doing the puja to the deity is not an employee or not a staff member, but he is an acharya. We must make it very clear. Even in private temples, he is an acharya and we are not some boss to dictate terms with him. Now Devasam board is actually transferring each and every Melshandi from one temple to the other temple like bank staffs. And what sort of bonding he will be having with the deity if he is transferred once in 6 months. And next blow the Devasam board is giving is the Melshandi should not accept any dakshana from the devotees. They have passed an open order that he should not accept any devotees. Even if it is voluntarily given by the devotee, the Melshandi should not accept any dakshana. Recently in a temple, a Shantikaran, he accepted 10 rupees as a dakshana for giving a charad. They considered it as a bribe and they suspended him for 10 rupees. So this is the scenario of temple structure which is actually being attacked slowly, and it is in a last phase where only the priests are left with the temple, and now direct attack is on them. And coming to the other art forms of temple, and which is actually the backbone of culture, one simple example is Krishnatam. Krishnatam is actually an offering at Guruvayur temple. Rather than an art form, it is an offering, like what? It is actually 8 forms, 8 plays. Krishnavadaram, Kaliyamardanam, Rasakrida, going up to Swargarohanam. It is actually an outcome of bhakti instead of an artistic dance or a dance which is made for public appeal. It is a kind of offering. Something similar to doing an archana or yajna or puja, it is an offering to the Lord. Lord Krishna is very pleased when this play is conducted in his shrine. There is even a popular legend that when the king of Kottarakara, he wanted to watch this Krishnatam and he requested the Samudri of Calicut to send his Krishnatam team to Kottarakara. He refused because it should be done only within the temple premises and we will not send our team. And that was the reason he got agitated and he created another art form opposite to this called Ramanatam, and Ramanatam evolved to Kathakali. And even Kathakali is actually an offering to Lord Sri Vallabhan of Thiruvalla. But sorry to say, Kathakali is the most insulted art form in Kerala. Now even for reality shows, even for shop opening, people dress up as Kathakali and then come there and do all sorts of nonsense. Coming back to Krishnatam, originally they were maintained by the Zamorin, and obviously with the interference from the government, slowly the board came in, Guruvara Devasam board took over, and all the customs, traditions, everything got changed. And an institution called Kalanilayam is now managing the Krishnatam with 70 employees, paid employees, and they are taking the employees to Europe, Paris, and all other places and conducting the Krishnatam there, which is supposed to happen only within the Guruvayur temple premises. Something similar to, what to say, a stage show or something, or reality show or whatever you call it. And people, which was actually watched with devotion, is now happening in a stage where people sitting with footwear and with cross legs, and they started comment, and they comment whether it's good or bad. Now we have even Christian Bharatanatyam shows, which was originally a temple art actually. And Kathakali, one particular show was staged at London. That show was called Hima Sundari. Hima Sundari. Can you guess what it is? Hima Sundari. It is a story of a girl who is troubled by her stepmother and helped by 7 dwarfs. It is Snow White and 7 dwarfs. A fairy tale is now staged in the Kathakali format called Hima Sundari. So, like Ramanatam and Krishnanatam, soon we can expect Kristu Atam. So we have so many art forms in Kerala similar to Ramanatam or Krishnatam or Kathakali. The Kudiyatam, it has to be performed by Chakiyars and Nangiyarama of separate Nambiyar caste and other people. And traditionally it is happening in the Kootambalam, which is actually inside the temple. The Kootambalam is actually a theatre hall. The name, as the name suggests, it is equal to that of the sanctum. The equal respect is given. It is always situated in the inner prakara of the temple, mostly on the southeast corner. It is either facing north or facing east. The Kootambalam has a peculiar instrument called Miravu. The Miravu has to be installed there. Not unlike other musical instruments, The Midavu has a Pratishtha Vidhi, and you call Mrudangopanayana. You have Upanayana Samskara for the Midavu. That is, the instrument is done as if the deity is installed. The Pratishtha Vidhi is there for the instrument, and Upanayana Samskara is done to the instrument, and the Sankalpam is the Midavu Vadyam is a brahmachari or a yogi who's in meditation inside the Kutambalam. He is a yogi meditating on the Lord, the deity, and it is his service to the Lord by way of the way of music. So this should never be removed or should be moved out of the Kutambalam. And most of the Ambalavasi communities are entitled to perform the Kutu or any art form inside the Kutambalam, and they are only entitled to use the Midavu. So it is very clear that it is not only just puja, anything connected to the religion is part of our tradition. Not just puja or not just temple, anything connected to the religion is part of the tradition. And without the religious backup, tradition has no role. So anyone who is performing all these things is not an employee. The Marar, the one who sings the Sopana Sangeetam, one who is actually doing the puja, everyone stands in the equal pedestal, because it is more of a mental process than a physical work. The mental process is the most important thing here. A normal state employee, if he is not satisfied with the service with his employer, he can go for a strike. Can any pujari go for a strike? Will he do that? He will never do that. Can he close his temple for one day? Because the Chaitanya, he believes the Chaitanya is there and the deity has to be worshipped. That's what we have been shouting from morning. And seeing the Kashi video, it is very evident that most of the people, what they are concerned is not even one glass of water is given to the deity, giving about 3 bogs. And no political person is scared about this. His agenda is totally different, and his agenda is to destroy the Chaitanya. So the state and religion is always separate. And the doing a reservation policy or taking an appointment for all these thing which is involved with the tradition will destroy the basic spirit of it. The umbilical link actually gives the life to the tradition. When that is lost, life is lost. When life is lost, the temple will become a museum. Obviously, that is what is happening in other countries. Another ritual art, which is most insulted than Kathakali, is Teyyam. That is another thing. The Chendamelam is now used for even every shop opening. For all inauguration, Chendamelam is mandatory. Teyyam is actually an unmistakable link. The dance form of Kerala, which is prevalent mostly in northern Kerala. And after the movie Kantara, many are aware of, though Kantara is not exactly the same, it is somewhat similar to Teyyam. In this dance form, many of the guardian deities are summoned to the body of the performer. He gets into the trance. The word Teyyam is actually comes from the root Deivam, God. Deivam comes as Teyyam. Because the person who is performing in this Teyyam, he has to undertake Vradam for so many days. And he is fasting, and even the proper Teyyam ritual will run for hours together. And for each instance of possession, he gets into trance, is rooted to one episode or one deity, and that is a very long process. And as said earlier in one of the other talks, when sacred groves were there, this Teyyam also had that connect. But in the name of modernization and expansion, first the groves disappeared. Slowly, Teyyam lost its originality, and the sacred ritual is now has become a performing art, and even stooped down to the level of party program. And for every function, people are invited to, and they are asked to dress like this and perform. And needless to say, it has stooped down to such a level. I will show you one video. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah. What else to say? So because of these performers, so-called performers, even the people who are actually, even today there are few sincere people and genuine, they are looked upon the same perspective. All these are actually, it may appear it has changed with the course of time, but it is actually a planned attack. Each and everything which we had a high reverence and high respect, we are made to insult our own tradition and rituals. It is a very well planned attack. And finally, next. When you talk about Kerala, we cannot conclude without talking about elephants. Elephants are integral part of temple rituals in Kerala. Almost 10,000 annual events are happening with elephants in Kerala, and most of the people who are from north or from other states, they actually consider elephant as a wild animal, and most of the people, especially with Western perspective, they give advice to us that it is a wild elephant animal, you should not trouble it and everything. But people of Kerala, just like cows, elephant is a domesticated animal according to them. So I'm talking the reality, because my grandmother, she used to say, in our house at Palakkad, we had 5 elephants. At Shekaripuram, 5 elephants at our house. We had 3 female and 2 male elephants. She will give the names also. Some Aswati or something, she will tell the names. So according to us, it is a domesticated animal. And believe me, you have fan clubs in Kerala for each temple elephant. Yes. Techikodu Ramachandran has a fan club. Mangalangundu Ganapati has a fan club. Just you can type in Google and see. You have so many fan clubs in Kerala for each and every temple elephant. And even I had no idea initially. When we started calling elephants for our own puja, there is a huge family history is given for each elephant. So many of the temples, they own elephants. And depending on the size of the elephant, it is given the preference of carrying the Lord. The procession of a deity happens in the back of the elephant in Kerala, be it any temple, Vishnu temple, Shiva temple or Ayyappa temple. The tradition has been there for centuries. And if you read Aidhigamala of Kottarathil Shankuni, I think there are around 5 to 6 chapters talking about, we all know about only Guruvayur Keshava. But Kottarathil Shankuni is writing about at least 7 to 8 immortal elephants and their role in Kerala's tradition and devotion to the Lord. Shiveli or Sri Buddha Bali, the most popular daily ritual which is happening in each and every Kerala temple is nothing but the procession of the deity on the back of an elephant. That is what. But in small temples which are not having elephants, the deity is carried in the hand. But the most big temples like Guruvayur, it is happening 3 times a day on the back of the elephant. And for temples like Kudalmanikyam, almost 10 to 17 elephants are used for Sri Buddha Bali and other rituals connected to the temple daily, where the Nethipatam, 10 elephants are wearing golden Nethipatam and the remaining 7 are wearing silver Nethipatam, and the procession is happening. And what is very popular among the other people of other states? Elephant running amok and killing 10 people. Video forward. Only this is portrayed in the social media. Nobody is worried about the original tradition and how the elephant looks and how the elephant is trained and how the Nitya Sri Buddha Bali and other processions are happening, how Trishur Puram is happening, how the Aratapura Puram, which is much older to Trishur Puram, is happening. Only these videos are purposefully planned and propagated. I do agree. Elephants, at times, it may create a problem. That is because it is during the mast time. When they are forcibly, instead of giving rest for money's sake, if they are brought into the procession, it may react. I do agree. That is the problem of the elephant owners or the Devasam board, which is doing for money. But this is what is projected in the media by organizations like PETA or Kerala State Animal Welfare Board. They start giving advices to Hindus before every Trishur Puram. They have even influenced the parliament members, and they have appealed to the members of Rajya Sabha to seek amendment to the Wildlife Protection Bill in the year 2002 to include a provision that explicitly prohibits the ownership and transfer of elephants by religious institutions. I think it didn't happen. But when it comes to killing of thousands of goats and camels for Bakri, I think these people will go to coma stage. And they wake up only after for Hindu temples, for Hindu rituals. So when it was women entry to Sabarimala, there was a very big agitation from public side, which they never expected. So they were forced to take back the decision. But for these kind of problems, what we solve, it is silently implanted, and most of the people are not even aware what is happening, and so that the system is easily getting ripped apart one by one. And from the video we saw regarding Kashi and to Sabarimala case, and with all these problems which we saw, what we think is the people with opposite ideologies are our enemies. But the reality is not that. Even the enemies can be handled easily because we very well know that they are on the opposite side. But the real problem is people with us. People with our own fraternity or people who claim to fight for us, most damages or irreversible damages are done by them. நான் யாரையும் சொல்லல. The real issue is our own people who are misguided. Probably they are misguided or misinformed, or they are pretending to be misguided. There are various reasons. There may be political correctness, democracy, influence of Western ideas, but the bottom line is the most damages is done from our side. So we must try to educate our own camp first. What is the reality, and then start countering the opposite side, which is actually easy. Countering the opposite parties are very easy because we very well know what will be his action plan. Shocks and surprises come from our side. Because even during the Sabarimala attack, what shocked me, because our own people who supported all these attacks on our tradition, whether they are ignorant or they are doing it for worldly benefits or for political reasons, but they did it. So traditions and culture are integral part of our society. So as regarding the Kasi corridor, what the answer gave, the same answer is from my side. What can be done, only God knows. Because enough damages are already done. Only God can save the traditions of God's own people, God's own country, from the clutches of devil's own people. We have already survived so many attacks and atrocities, and I don't know, frankly, I don't know how long we are going to withstand this. But it is our duty to stand up and give our voice and create awareness for Dharma. We are very well aware that things change with time. We do agree that. But we must also be aware that few things must withstand time. And culture, tradition should withstand time. And that is the bottom line. Jai Shri Ram, Swami Sharanam. Thank you.
Namaskaram, sir. Sir, you mentioned about Miravu and all that. So Mirava has been since Silappatikaram times.
Yes,
So
yes.
for people who search, they are able to get information about it. But for a common person, I don't think we are creating enough content to reach the common man as well.
Very true.
So
Very
is
true.
there a way that you see or a map you can guide with people? So this can Mirava is also very good for people who meditate as well. So I read it in the scripture. So it is said that with all these practices you are here to explain to us. So how to take this knowledge to the outer world?
We'll have to create something. Some database or some knowledge storehouse has to be made and it has to be taken to the public. Your question is right, but right now we don't have much things to share. So something has to be done for that. We have to take some initiative and do it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Regarding freeing temples from government control. We are doing some efforts in
Yes,
Tamil
yes.
Nadu.
The ultimate aim is that.
No, we are doing some efforts in Tamil Nadu. There are some whispers in Karnataka, some whispers in Andhra once in a while. We got a good judgment in the Ahobilam case. Why is there nothing in Kerala on this subject?
That is because of this deep-rooted communist mentality, which is actually it is a very well planned mentality which is sown to the entire public. That is one reason. Second reason is a thing is projected that you have better opportunities than staying inside the temple. So all the people, they have already moved out. Originally, what you say is the temple was managed by yogams and committees which was actually taking care. Example, the Ettara Yogam of Trivandrum and other things, they were actually, the traditional families were taking care of the temple, the entire system. Now the system itself is collapsed.
How to bring it back?
We'll have to try again. We'll have to fight back. We'll have to create the awareness. And at least we have some mutts or religious institutions stronghold in Tamil Nadu, which is absent in Kerala actually. We have Kerala Shankaracharyas, we have 4 Shankar Mutts in Kerala. And unfortunately, even the lands and the rights of Shankar Mutts is occupied by our own people, and the Shankaracharya or Kerala Shankaracharya had to do his Chadurmasim in streets.
Our own organization.
Our own organization, right. Who claims to fight for Hindus, those organizations occupied the mutt of Shankaracharya, Kerala Shankaracharya, and Shankaracharya did his Chadurmasim sitting on streets.
We all understand that, let's say, if you allow people from other castes to, other parts of life to actually become priests or anything, it will have an impact on, let's say, the lineage and all of that. That is one thing that we all understand. But what is the, let's say, all these temples are, all these deities are put in these places, or let's say, installed in these places because these are very powerful centers. So what is the impact that will have on the temple itself and the power that it actually possesses? Let's say when it comes to...
No, the temple or the Chaitanyam is never going to be disturbed by any of these.
Okay.
But the thing is, each deity has a sankalpam and he has some preferences. For example, a Chaitanya is installed in a temple and he is fond of hearing Veda Gosham. For example, I am telling you. So that is his dharma. Something which is happening opposite to that will definitely have an impact with the Chaitanyam of the temple. Doesn't mean that the Chaitanyam is lost or something, but it is actually disturbing the, I don't get the right word in English.
Vibe.
I want to avoid that word. Something like that. So now you see a Krishna temple is there, who's actually fond of hearing Veda Goshams, but now it is surrounded by mosque. And we are not allowed to use even a speaker or something like that. But Krishna is forced to hear the opposite side prayers 5 times a day.
So what would the civilizational impact be of this? That is my larger question.
The purpose is defeated, no? So this automatically it will have an impact on the civilization. The very purpose for which the temple is formed is now defeated because he is not having his own preferences and that is curtailed. So the purpose is defeated, so the net result will also have that impact. That is what is happening in Kerala now. So the Veda Dharma has gone down. The entire Veda Dharma is now under threat.
Okay, so I have a concern or
And
question.
we have the original Veda and Agamas are different, and we are calling something else as Veda and Agama.
over a period of time, at least for past 10 years, temples hardly have elephant. So they're integral part of worship. For example, if you go to Shri Aravind, morning there is Go Puja, Ashwa Puja and Gaja Puja. A lot of temples have it, and it is used as a respect to deity. They invoke the Gaja Puja or Go Puja with, there are rituals associated. Over the period of time, this animal activism has taken down, and like what Arvindji told, like they are showing only the elephant attacking people. They want to remove the elephant, taming elephant as an art from the temple itself, from our culture. So can we do something towards it? It's a appeal or a request to you.
In my recent presentations I made on the temple subject, I have stated more than once that the number one problem are courts, our honorable courts. Okay, they want to be more loyal than the king. They want to be more secular than the word secular itself. And they want to find avenues to write path-breaking judgments. So the elephant is one such opportunity. Jallikattu is one such opportunity. Jallikattu is the finest methodology evolved over centuries to sustain the progeny of the Desi cattle. Without Desi cattle, we do not have natural farming. We do not have Panchakavya. Poovinukku arungalam pongu thamare. Aavinukku arungalam aran anju aadudal. Kovinukku arungalam kottavillathu. Naavinukku arungalam namachivayadu. So, Aavinukku arungalam aran anju aadudal. There is an inscription of Rajendra Chola which says how to make Panchakavya, the exact proportion of the 5 ingredients. So the domestication of elephants, and it was also used in warfare, but the temples to do great jobs, to lift weights, and to be part and parcel of the temple activity, elephants were always used for centuries. Now, we need to take this as a cultural practice. Article 26, your religious rights and administrative rights. And Article 25, your religious rights. They are subject to public order, morality, and health. But your fundamental right under Article 29(1) is not subject to this. It is a pure right. Sections of people to sustain their culture. They have every right in this country. Jallikattu was earlier won on Article 29(1) as a cultural right by Dr. Swami. Not everybody knows that he is the one who got Jallikattu back. Similarly, we should use the elephant not just as Gaja Puja, Agama Pramana in temples, but also as a culture of domesticating the animal and maintaining it and being close to the animal and the society. I'll cut it short quickly. I was working in Cochin for 6 months when I was working in Citibank. During my tenure there, I saw 2 incidents. One is an elephant had killed a mahout in a place called Valanjambalam in Cochin. And subsequently, a small news item was reported that the original mahout of that elephant had got a job elsewhere and he had moved away, and this is a new mahout who tried to do some enforcement of discipline, and he got caught. And while driving back from work to my hotel in Cochin, there was a huge traffic jam, some Palavattam junction, I forgot the name. Then subsequently I got to know, subsequently I got to know that about 200 meters or 300 meters ahead, there's an elephant on the road creating a scene. What had actually happened is, the elephant was above a man fallen on the road. The man was between the 4 legs of the elephant, and the elephant would not move. they tried so many things, and finally they got a fire tender, fire engine, and they started applying water with heavy force on the elephant. Even then the elephant did not move, but the water fell on the man, and the man slowly got up, and he was like wobbling. Basically what had happened is, he was the mahout of the elephant, and he was drunk, and he fell down. The elephant was protecting him from the ongoing traffic. So this version of the elephant never gets reported. We must make this awareness. If PETA and other organizations come together and give us stories, we must give them the real stories. Thank you.
And one more additional information. I'm surprised actually, I don't know, you'll have to answer me. In Tamil Nadu, at least just before some 50 to 60 years, we had male elephants. And nowadays, we don't see even a single male elephant in Tamil Nadu temples.
I think there's only one. I forgot which temple, but the temple authorities have to get a clearance from the forest department to get an elephant for a temple. And these days they give approval only for female elephants. The last male elephant in Tiruchendur was abused, and it suddenly died, and it was also quite wild because it was abused. And they have stopped giving approval for male elephants.
Hi, so I have two small questions. One question is related to cows, something I'd like more perspective on. When I'm traveling in the south, I often see that in the mandirs, they are using Jersey cows, and it's very hard to see desi cows. And this really concerns me because, as you guys mentioned, is that the preparations for the puja materials depend on the indigenous genetics of the cow and what milk and ghee they produce. So, do you have any comments about this, of the situation in Kerala and how this, what is happening? And the second question I have is, we know that like the kind of Vedic and, as you mentioned, the agamic temples, many of them are under government control. But what about the more kind of left-hand path or more tantric temples? Are those also equally under threat by the government, or are they kind of in their own section? Because I'm still learning about the traditions of Kerala, but I believe that there are many tantric temples also. And what is the situation and risk to those temples? Thank you.
Regarding the cow, what you say is right. Desi cows are now actually very difficult to see them, and definitely only the proper Desi cows and its milk and its products that we used for Panchagavyam, and Jersey cows has no use. And it is just, you can name it as a cow, that's all. It's actually not a cow, according to. That's all.
It's a genetically modified
That's
creature.
all. That's all. So the results will also be the same. Now it is very difficult to find even a genuine single Desi cow. And the second part of the question is left-hand tantras. We don't have much temples actually as portrayed in the social media and other things. And those temples, there might be one or few temples which is actually privately managed temple. All the major temples which are actually known as I started earlier, they have their own tantra system, and mostly what you call the left-hand tantra or kaula tantra, etc., is they are not much in practice in big temples. And even there are in few temples, there are few claims that they want to do that, but government is again against everything. Even the problem happened at Kodungalur regarding the Kodungalur Bharani festival. They have so many restrictions and so many bans from the government. Even they did not allow the devotees to enter the temple during the Bharani festival. So government is always the government. They create whatever problem they can. So I don't think there are much left-hand temples, as you say. If at all, if it is there, there may be some private temples or private this thing. Thank you.